Through. There we go. I know Debbie normally does a introduction, but I'll go ahead. I know they're having technical difficulties and introduce myself. I'm Cindy McClure, Grossmueller's design consultants. We're located up in Friendship Heights, DC. Yesterday we did the kitchen bathroom planning guidelines, and so today we're going to do the kitchen. I said that all wrong. It must be late in the day in our education program. Yesterday we did the kitchen planning guidelines. Today we're going to do the bathroom planning guidelines. There we go. I like to run these real informally. We're a little smaller group than yesterday, so if you have questions, please interrupt me. I have a tendency to get going on a tear. If you are not comfortable interrupting and want to just put a question in the chat window, then Debbie can easily interrupt me. It's usually a lot easier to ask a question if you've got a slide up, and then I can try to clarify with something. Also know that these slides will be available to you afterwards, so you don't need to sit there and write all of the detailed measurements down, things like that, because you will have access to them. These are taken directly from the National Kitchen and Bath Association's guidelines. They were printed in 2016. As you'll see as we get a little further along, the codes that they planned off of were 2015. And I know that some of our jurisdictions around here are working on later years codes, so you're going to have to kind of take that part with a grain of salt. We haven't gotten the updated guidelines printed through or published through NKBA just yet, but I knew they were working on it. All right, so our goal today is to try to talk about what are good practices for designing bathrooms. The course objectives are to be able to identify what codes are part of the 2015 IRC codes and the plumbing codes that pertain to bathroom planning. Participants will be able to identify access standards. Access standards are those that deal with universal design or design for people that are in wheelchairs, things of that nature. We've got 27 bathroom planning guidelines that they've published, so a little less than yesterday. We had 31 in the kitchen. And we're hoping that you will be able to recognize the importance of the guidelines and then apply them to projects of your own so that we protect consumers' health, safety, and welfare. Why do we have standards? These are some of my most favorite photographs that I find all over the internet because they just make me laugh. I guess I'm easily humored. But you know, the fact that you've got a toilet, you must have changed from a round bowl to an elongated bowl, and you've got to trim the door around it to be able to get into the room. Somebody in the second picture obviously changed from a pedestal sink to a vanity and just didn't have the gumption to move the toilet paper roll. This one, the third one that's all the way over on the right-hand side, looking at the reach of where somebody drilled a hole or maybe bought a prefabricated top that had a hole already drilled and the water doesn't quite make it into the bowl. The one at the bottom left, you know, kind of hard to get in that shower if it's that low, but somebody didn't plan properly and put stuff at the right height. The middle picture on the bottom, maybe somebody was thinking of trying to do a bidet later or one of the washlet seats, but you're not going to get a whole lot plugged into that plug that's down there. And I bet you it's not even GFI protected. And then the last one, yeah, there are some really cool modern designs out there, but you're revealing a whole lot to the outside world if you're going to use that, that toilet. So these are some of the reasons why we have standards. We want to provide you know, designers, architects, and contractors with good planning practices. We want to consider the needs of a range of people, and we want to follow codes. Like I said, this one is these follow the 2015 IRC codes, the access standards from ICC, and then paying attention to our local and state codes. The guidelines start off with talking about entry into a bathroom. Bathrooms a lot of times in these areas when they were the small 5x8s or even smaller than that are tiny to get into. What we are looking for is predominantly to have at least a 32-inch opening to be able to get in. It's a comfortable door to walk through. I myself will share that I have put 24-inch doors on bathrooms, but they are tight to get through, especially if you have a larger human being that's trying to walk through it. When we talk about access standards, these are standards for, again, somebody in a wheelchair. It's not so much the approach in from, in this case, the hallway or whatever outside room is going into the space. It's more for if there's a wheelchair coming here trying to get to the door to open it, you need at least 18 inches of space to the swing side of the door to be able to actually reach the door and then open it and then be able to get out. The third image shows a diagram of a countertop at the top and then some kind of cabinet, either a countertop with a wall cabinet or maybe it's a deep linen storage. If you don't have that 18 inches on one side, the guideline is to give yourself at least a 36-inch clear space opening to be able to travel through there. And that's what's stated at the bottom of the slide. Okay, guideline number 2, door interference. So no entry or fixture door should interfere with one, obviously that's spelled wrong, one another, or for the safe use of fixtures or cabinets. This one perfectly diagrams that first image where we had the door cut out around the toilet bowl. A lot of times this gets way too tight, and if the rough in on the toilet or if the bowl is elongated versus round, you don't have the clear space to actually make that door open. Another thing is that a lot of times people will tuck the shower back behind the door. The challenge is that if you're in the shower and just getting out and you forgot to lock the door and somebody comes in, all of a sudden the doors are clashing and somebody's getting hurt along the way. So we're trying to design them so that you don't have these kind of interferences with each other. With the second diagram, what we're talking about here is, again, these access standards for getting in and out of spaces. So on a door that you're going through from, let's say this is the hallway side, the width of the door, we'd like it to be at least 34. And then you want to have 12 inches over here. It's just maneuverability. Usually in a hallway, that's fine, you've got it. But then when you enter into the space, again, on that swing side of the door, make sure you've got 18 inches to one side so that somebody can reach it if they're in a chair. Number 3, ceiling heights. Code requires that a minimum ceiling height in a bathroom should be no less than 18 inches. Where the ceiling sloped to less than 80 inches. Did I say 18? I meant 80. Where the ceiling is sloped to less than 80 inches, the ceiling height shall be such that the fixture is capable of being used for its intended purpose. So 80 is so that if you put a vanity here, you can actually get the mirror in here. Toilet, obviously, so that it can be sat upon, that sort of a thing. I know that there are guidelines within our local jurisdictions that say bathrooms are not considered habitable spaces, so they don't have to meet some of the requirements for habitable space ceiling heights, but good design is going to propose that we try to keep an 80-inch minimum in those bathrooms. Clear space. Clear space is planning for room in front of a fixture or to the side of a fixture so that they can be used comfortably. When we get into access standards, they're again so that somebody can get into a space. Some of these diagrams you'll see there's no way a wheelchair is getting in there, so I think that's going to be our next slide. But let's go ahead and talk about them. So in front of a vanity space, our recommended distance from the nosing of the countertop out is 30 inches. We'd like to have 30 inches of space between any other fixture that's behind it or a wall or anything like that so that you can comfortably move around. As a minimum, you can get away with 21. A lot of the spaces, if we're remodeling them in the existing footprint and not moving stuff around, you're going to hit those minimums and they may be even slightly shy of that. These are guidelines. They're what we hope to achieve, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be able to. For a tub, again, it's 30 inches in front of it and 21 in front of it, just so that you have an easy way in and out of that tub. When it comes to a shower, and they obviously picked the most challenging of showers to try to get into because you've got to walk or come down a hallway and turn into it. As a minimum or as a recommended space, we want 30, and I would actually argue it should be more 36. And as a minimum, you want 24 to be able to walk through and in. Code requires that we've got 21 inches, so that minimum at a lavatory. And if you've got at a lavatory, toilet, or bidet, and then 24 at a shower entrance. And so over here, you can see as this bathroom lays out, 30 inches gives this bathroom a whole lot more space. The door actually clears the end of the wing wall of the toilet. When you go down to 21, things get real tight and there's lots of banging into stuff in the room if we're only hitting minimums. Clear space for access standards. When we get into counters, we're looking for some space underneath, protected if possible, so that the piping that's underneath, if it's hot, somebody in a wheelchair can roll up to this and not burn themselves on it. The height there is 27. It's about 11 inches deep, and you usually want to leave at least 9 inches of toe space or clear space underneath the vanity. For someone rolling up to a vanity space here, you want a clear space in front that's 30 inches by 48 inches. And the center should really be 24 inches off of a wall to be able to give it room. When you're overlapping spaces with fixtures, you can see here, we've got the opportunity that you've got that 30 by 48 inch space in front of the vanity. Some of it overlaps. If you've got the kind of situation here, all the way on the left-hand side where you've got room underneath, those spaces can overlap. If the vanity all the way goes all the way to the floor, these spaces cannot overlap where you see the shading in the vanity space. For the tub over here, you can see the space that they're looking for is 60 by 30. And if we've got a bench here, they extend it a little bit longer so that we've got another 12 inches towards the end of the tub. And that's where the overlap space comes in the middle. Okay, access spaces. This is more, again, wheelchairs, so that you've got turning radiuses. Here we'd like to have a 60-inch clear space in front of these fixtures so that a wheelchair can turn around. You can see they've used a pocket door in here because a swing door, even if it opened up, might interfere with this space. This circle could overlap this vanity space if you had the situation back in this slide where we've got some room underneath where the knees can rotate. But in this particular plan, we're going to assume that the vanity goes all the way to the floor, and so we're trying to keep that 60 inches of floor space outside of the fixtures. Here, if we're going to do T-turns, we need 60 by 36 by another 60 this way. And again, assuming that this is space where you can turn the chair underneath the vanity space. Your space, there's a lot of concerns with it. So when you're talking about a shower, we're looking at a transfer shower here. So what this is the actual space of the shower is fairly small. It's a 36 by 36, and there's no curb. And so you would roll up in front of it, the seat comes down, and you'd be able to side transfer onto this seat that's in the shower. The width you should have is 36. It just gives flexibility for somebody to be able to transfer sideways. Here where we've got roll-in showers where the wheelchair may actually roll into the shower and be used in the shower, they do have those. We're looking for at least a shower that's 60 inches long and 30 inches, your space on the outside is 30 inches. Here again, we're looking at 36 if possible. I know that number isn't on this diagram, but you're looking for 36 to be able to fit in the space because you're still gonna have the grab bars that are in that space itself. For toilet approach, if you've got a grab bar behind and on both sides there, you're looking for space that they can either pull up next to and transfer to the side or pull up. A lot of them can stand up in chairs and turn around and be able to use the toilet that way. So a 56 by 60 inch box around that toilet really gives them plenty of space to be able to transfer from the wheelchair onto the toilet. Okay, lavatory placement. The distance from the center line of the lavatory to a sidewall or tall obstacle should be at least 20 inches. And it is my recollection, here we have the recommended at 20 inches and the minimum at 15. I don't think that this meets our current code requirement anymore because although it says here the minimum distance from a center line to the wall is 15, I believe that this has changed in our local jurisdictions. When you're talking about a wall hung vanity, we're looking to give them at least 4 inches of space on the side here. A lot of times it's convenience for cleaning as well. And as far as access standards go, you don't use 20 or 15. You want to give them 24 to the center line of that. Center line of the sink. When we're talking about double vanities or double lavatories, the distance between the two of them should be at least 36 inches, and there should be a minimum of 4 inches if you've got 2 of the wall-hung lavatories. If we've got code, if we're paying attention to code, the minimum distance between the center lines of the 2 lavatories is 30, so it's a little smaller than this. Just gets to be a functioning space. If you've got both people there brushing their teeth, one happens to be left-handed, one happens to be right, and they don't stand on the side where their elbows would be out, they'd be knocking them if they were in the middle. Vanity heights, lavatory and vanity heights. The heights for lavatories vary anywhere between 32 and 43 inches. I know our current, more common height is 36. When you're in a wheelchair, you're looking at somewhere between 32 and 34 is most commonly the easiest height in which to use that lavatory. But varying heights help. You're going to take your user into account. Very, very tall people. I have a son that's 6'5". He would love a vanity that is 43 inches tall. Me, not so much. Lavatory controls should also be within that user's reach and operable with one hand. So there are a lot of really cool stylings of fixtures. Lever fixtures are the easiest to utilize for most people when it's operable with one hand. And we'd like that lavatory sink not to be more than about 34 inches above the floor. It's a guideline, it's an access standard. If you're using a 36-inch or a 34.5-inch cabinet with a countertop, usually you're a little bit higher than that. Guideline number 8, counters. As in kitchens, most of the time when you've got a 90-degree corner, what we're looking to do is have someone either round that corner or have someone clip the corner. When those corners are a sharp 90 degrees, it may be a really cool modern look. The problem is that 9 times out of 10, somebody's going to come around that corner too quickly and either clip a hip or give yourself a nice big bruise on your hip, or you're going to have a child that's running around that's going to hit his head, something like that. So if we can round those corners, clip those corners. Shower sizes. The interior shower size is recommended to be at least 36 by 36. And if anybody has taken a shower in a 36 by 36, they know that it's still kind of tight. They say a minimum is 30 by 30. That's really tight, especially if you're going up to wash your hair. Elbows are going up and out, and you're kind of turning sideways, even in a 36 by 36. When you put a shower door on here, so when they're talking about egress, whether you're doing a shower door or you're doing maybe a little bit of a wing wall, you want to make sure that that unobstructed opening width is about 22 inches wide. More shower sizes. These are more for access and being able to get in and out. So these are roll-in showers. This is where we were before, where we talked about a 60-inch long one when we were talking about the clear space in front. Here they're saying even wider is better. So instead of 36, as I said before, a 42 is better to be able to actually access rolling right into that shower. They say this is a transfer shower. This is if you've got a door, they're showing an opening door here where you can go in and you can rotate around. I don't know what you're really transferring to in this particular diagram, but if you were coming in a wheelchair and wanted to rotate all the way around, you're looking at a 60 by 60 shower. This is one that's more of a transfer shower where you'd be pulling up in front, transferring onto that folding seat, and then be showering in there. That one again is the 36. It's a little wider than 36, but it's drawn here as 36 by 36. And then over in the roll-in shower here, they're talking again about that clear space in front. Here here's where they are a little confusing and contradictory in their own terms. So in our first image, they show that we're 42 inches wide by 60 inches long, and that's the optimum. Here they're giving us that we need 30 inches, 30 to 40, 36 to 42 is preferred, then you still got the 60 by 30 clear space out front. This one also has a folding seat in the back. So I think that what they're saying here is that if you don't have a folding seat and the chair is actually going in, there's no place for anyone to transfer to, keep it 48. And then when you have a seat that's in the back of the shower that they can transfer onto, it can be a little narrower. Tub shower controls. All right, so controls in a shower, and the first diagram is in a straight shower, just a shower, not a tub shower combination. They should be accessible from both inside and outside of the shower spray and be located between 38 and 48 inches above the finished floor. So most commonly we see in our showers where we're putting the shower head at the top and then we're putting the control in the middle. A lot of times what we're advising people is to move it to one side, that's to the outer side, so people can pull up next to it, turn it on, not necessarily get wet. And then once they're in the shower, they're still able to reach it, turn it off, and then get out of the shower. But that makes it just a little bit easier to be able to turn the water on and off, let it get hot, so you're not standing in a cold stream of water as it gets hot. So when we talk about tubs, same kind of thing, where you can see here they've offset that the volume control to turn it on. They're recommending that the height of it be located with between the rim of the tub and 33 inches above the floor. So somewhere in that range is the height to be able to put that put the volume control. One of the things that's a contradiction kind of here is if you imagine this is a grab bar and it sticks out off the wall and you've got this volume control right behind it, it's going to be difficult to reach behind that, or it may be difficult to reach behind that. So I would actually recommend you push it in just a hair so that it's a little bit easier to be able to see it and to be able to maneuver whatever lever or control that you've got on that volume control there. All right. More diagrams, more dimensional diagrams of tub and shower controls. Here we're talking also about grab bar heights. So here we want to offset the controls. We've talked about this. This diagram's a little bit better because they show you a horizontal grab bar here and a vertical grab bar here. That's to help someone get into the tub, but we've offset that control to the side and below the grab bar. On the back wall, we're looking between 33 and 36 inches for the highest one, and about 8 to 10 inches off the surface of the tub or the rim of the tub. That gives them a variety of heights to be able to grab at. Now, grab bar designs have come quite a long way. So if you can't do two, or two looks a little overkill, a lot of times there are diagonal ones or somewhat L-shaped ones that can be installed that eliminate the need for two, but still give you these varying heights to be able to actually give someone the ability to be able to get themselves in and out of the tub. In a transfer shower, again, they've got the offset controls over here. You're looking to have them between 38 and 48 inches off the floor. We'd like the grab bar again above it so you can actually get it. And from that grab bar to the center line of the shower is about 15 inches. Now, if your shower is 42, the challenge is that that's going to be fairly close to the outside, and you're really probably going to recommend putting this more in the center of a 42-inch shower rather than just 15 inches off the grab bar. Here they've got a hand spray that's low. This is a transfer shower, so somebody may be sitting down. So this just gives them the opportunity to be able to use the hand shower and be able to grab at it rather than having to stand up and then pull that hand shower down. In this diagram where they're actually rolling in, you may have a seat, although their diagram, that's a little tiny of a seat to sit on, so probably be a little bit bigger than that. But in this one, they're giving us the placements. Again, hand spray is low, volume control is offset. The grab bars are here so that you can get yourself up and off of the seat if you need to. And then heights, give yourself at least 4 inches off the wall where you're installing this vertical grab bar so that there's ability to be able to get your hand around it. And it should start at about 48 inches off the floor. If you can identify hot and cold with red and blue, I know a lot of the manufacturers on these have an H or a C. Even putting on a little dab of paint of red or blue may come off after a while, but it helps someone that can't see so well or something identify which way is hot and which way is cold. All right, water temperature safety. Our code says that shower and tub control valves have to be one of the following: pressure balance, thermostatic mixing, or a combination of the two. There needs to be a stop in there that gives us a maximum of 120 degrees in a shower and 110 degrees Fahrenheit at a bidet. And hotter, it's gonna be a little too hot, you might get burned. Guideline number 12, shower and tub seats. What we're looking to do, if possible, is incorporate a seat into a tub and a shower where possible. There's a variety of different ways you can do that. You can do that where you build in a bench in a shower. There's a way where you can do a removable seat that can bridge over the tub. And then there are ways where you can extend the length of the tub and the tub area so that there's a seat at the end of it. A lot of things have also, again, developed since these guidelines came out, where there are seats that can fold down off the wall, so they don't have to be built in like this. There's a lot of cool products out there in terms of other options as well. But to incorporate them, we just want to make sure that they're 17 to 18 inches above the shower floor, and they don't infringe on this minimum 30-inch space or floor space within the shower, okay? Removable tub seat should be between 15 and 16 inches deep, not deep height-wise, but deep front to back, so that you've got enough room to be able to sit on it. And the same thing at the end. They also talk about making sure that they can withstand about 250 pounds of pressure. If you have a user that is more than that, obviously we have to make sure that whatever we're going to end up specifying can handle the user of that particular seat. The tub shower surrounds. All right, the wall areas above the tub or the shower should be covered in waterproof material extending 3 inches, at least 3 inches above the shower head and the rough end. So in this particular case, we're looking as a recommendation to extend that tile line, or if it's a solid surface that you're doing for the walls, extend it at least 3 inches above. I can tell you as a general practice, my designs all include taking that tile all the way to the ceiling. It's just a cleaner line in a lot of cases. As a minimum, a lot of homes we go into, that shower head comes out underneath, over top of that tile line, 72 inches off the floor, 6 feet. There still can be splash up here. A lot of times part of the reason we're going into remodel is because this area has ended up with mold, or they've decided to wallpaper and the wallpaper's peeling, things like that. Again, my recommendation, although the recommendation here is to take it to 3 inches above the shower head, take the tile all the way up and you alleviate a lot of those concerns. Grab bars. We need to plan the grab bars to facilitate access to and maneuvering in and around the tub shower areas. Again, hoping to be able to support a load of 250 pounds. So you've got to make sure that your user, you're accommodating that. And there's a variety of ways to make sure you've got that blocking back behind the wall. These look like they're showing 2x4 blocking back behind there. A lot of times we'll put in 2x12s just to make sure that you've got a lot of room and a lot of play. You can't quite miss that blocking when you're attaching to it. The other option is that you can put some plywood back behind there before you put down either your cement board, your Curdy system, whatever. And always check with the manufacturer with the Curdy systems to make sure that you can drill through them. As far as heights around a tub, we're looking for grab bars that are, again, 33 to 36 inches above the floor here. In both cases, the tub and the shower. And we'd like those diameters on the grab bars to be 1.25 inches to 2 inches, and they extend out about 1.25 inches from the wall. Placement of grab bars. We've gone through this and I've talked about it a little bit in some of the other pictures, so I'm not going to read through all of the diagram numbers. What we're looking for is to have them on at least 2 of the walls of tubs. Here where we were talking about the 2 different heights, those work. Again, those L-shaped grab bars work really well. Looks like a lazy L. It kind of lays back like this. They're great to be able to get somebody up and out, whether they go this way or the other way. You also can have one horizontally on the front head of the shower and a vertical one so that they can grab it when they're going into the bathtub. More grab bars, these are in showers. We don't have them on the back wall of the shower here because you're sitting on the seat and trying to get yourself pulled up. Same thing here. Same thing in this one, you've got them on all three, so you're rolling in. You're probably in the chair at this point in time, so you may need those to help yourself maneuver around left and right, as well as get up. Grab bars at a toilet. These are the heights that are recommended. The vertical one, a lot of times, in all honesty, we don't put in, but it is recommended. It is easier for people to get up. The horizontal one on the side and on the back are the most frequently installed. If you've ever been into any public restroom, you'll always see them there. But the vertical one is a great handhold to be able to get yourself up and out, up off of the toilet. Glazing. So if you're going to use glass in a bathroom and around a tub, anything like that, the code is going to be that you're going to temper it. The guidelines say that if you can, keep it at least 60 inches up off the surface of the deck, the tub deck, if you've got it, and at least, and if it's below 18 inches off the floor, it's got to be tempered. Truthfully, if you're going to put any kind of glass in the bathroom, the inspectors come around and they'll measure any which way that's the shortest way to it. So the smartest thing to do is to temper all glass that's in a bathroom. Tub shower doors. Okay, oops, sorry about that. Hinge doors always need to open outward. I can tell you a funny story that I had a dog. I had an old shower door that actually swung in. It was a very large shower, so there was room to maneuver. And I had an old dog that got himself trapped in the shower, and we couldn't find him for 2 hours because we could hear him, but we couldn't get him out, and he couldn't get himself out. So we immediately changed the shower door after that. It was a dog, it wasn't a person. But the concern is that if someone were to fall in the shower and the door, and they fell against the door and it locked them in there, they wouldn't be able to be helped out. So doors are required to swing outward. The goal for access standards is the threshold. We don't want it to be more than about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch high. And the change in level should be beveled or sloped so that you can get into and out of there and the water doesn't come out all over the floor. All right, steps. Steps should not be placed outside of a tub. I know it was a great thing in the 80s. Everybody loved doing steps up to a tub, but shouldn't use a step on a tub. It's easier for somebody to sit on the edge of the tub and swing their legs in rather than to step up on a step and then try to step into the tub, which will not have a step in it. A lot of times they say that if you're going to use a step, use a grab bar, but the challenge I would still pose is that if you're standing on the tub deck trying to get into the tub, you're stepping down at least 20 inches into that, and the risk of hurting yourself is really high. Access standards, they're again giving you where those grab bars should be. If you're going to use a step, don't do it. Flooring. Slip-resistant flooring surfaces should be specified for general bath flooring, shower floors, and tub shower bottoms. There's all different kinds of things out there. The diagrams here are always pretty vanilla, so I threw in a couple of others. We've got a lot of patterned floors. These are outside, still using the smaller 3x3s on the inside of the shower. These are hexagonal tiles. You've got little penny rounds. They have a glossier finish than a lot of them, but because they're small, you've got the grout that makes it non-slip. And then in here, you've got a small marble that's a little 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch that gives you the slope to be able to come down to the drain and gives you the slip resistance that you need in the bath and in the shower and in the bathroom floor. If you have a jetted tub or an air tub or something like that, if you have a steam shower or something in the shower, if you want to be able to get to the backside of the plumbing, putting in decorative access panels or access panels at all are always desired. All equipment, so when you've got a jetted tub or air tub, you need to have an access panel as per your manufacturer's instructions, so that there are specifications so that you can actually get to it and service it if need be, okay? If we are installing anything like that that has equipment controls, controls for turning on the jets, controls for temperature in a tub, things like that. We'd like it to be placed between 15 and 48 inches above the finished floor. Toilet and bidet placement. All right, so the distance from the center line of a toilet to the center line of a bidet or any bath fixture or other wall or other obstacle should be 18 inches. So when we do a toilet, a lot of times it's 15 inches to the center of the toilet and 15 inches to the vanity next to it. Very common layout here. If we're going to do a bidet next to it, we want to make sure that we've got a little bit more room from center line to center line, okay? If we have grab bars here around the toilet, if you're going to put those in, give yourself more than 15 inches. Give yourself the 16 to 18 because you know you've got the space behind the grab bar and the distance or the diameter of the grab bar, which equaled about 3 inches, which pushes that back out. Toilet compartments. The size for a separate toilet compartment should be at least 36 by 66 with a swing out or pocket door. Now, in neither of these two layouts are you ever going to fit a pocket, but sometimes you can. This is the minimum. It's really kind of hard to maneuver in here, but you can. So the required or the recommended is 36 inches wide and 66 inches long. If you've got access, if you're going to have a wheelchair go into this enclosed space, you don't need the full 60-inch turning radius, but you do need the clear floor space for them to be able to pull in, be able to transfer over, and then to be able to back out, okay? Let's see, did I cover everything else? Yep, we also, the other thing is we want to make sure that we've got 21 inches. This was in the first standard, 21 inches from the center, from the front of the toilet to whatever is in front of it, here, here, or here. All right, storage. We want to make sure that in all bathrooms we've got adequate storage, things for toiletries, bath linens, grooming, bath supplies, point of use, things like that. We want to make sure that the most frequently used items are stored somewhere between 15 and 48 inches above the finished floor. And your reach the reach, if it's obstructed by a counter, at most is 44 inches tall. So if you've got somebody where this is open underneath the vanity and they're going to be able to pull up in front of it, they're not going to be able to reach very high because this is coming out towards them. So make sure that it's only 44 inches tall. When they can wheel directly up to the wall or to wherever you've got storage built in, they're really only going to be able to reach about 48 inches tall. So these linen cabinets, which are typically 84, a lot of times those top shelves won't be able to be used by somebody in a wheelchair, but it's great use if you're not in a wheelchair and you've still got plenty of storage that's happening within the bathroom itself. Accessories, we want to make sure that you've got a mirror or a medicine cabinet above or next to the lavatory. We want to make sure that you've taken the user's eye height into account. Usually the bottom, we like to start about 40 inches, but all of that's going to depend on the height of the mirror that you have. If you've got somebody that's really tall, you just either have to make sure you've got a taller mirror or you start the bottom taller. The 40 inches is mainly for access standards for somebody that's in a chair to be able to see themselves. A lot of bathroom accessory dimensions, where they should be placed. You always want the toilet paper holder about 8 inches ahead of you, 8 to 12 inches ahead of you, maybe 26 inches off the floor. We do have, you can see the difference in these two pictures here. We do have a variety of different toilet heights. So make sure that we're taking that into account too. If you've got a taller toilet height, sometimes this has to be modified a little bit. The next couple pictures will also show you when you've got grab bars, how to work around the grab bars for the placement of that toilet paper holder. Other things, towel bars, soap dishes, they're really user initiated to make sure that you've got enough in there. A lot of questions I will typically ask a client is, do you like to hang the towel over a bar or are you a hook person? A lot of that will drive my designs in terms of the space needed and do we need to plan for those 24-inch or 18-inch towel bars, or will hooks just suffice? If you've got somebody that's doing, that's using the bathroom that needs access, or that is in a chair, just make sure that you're, again, sticking between that 15 and 48 inches above the floor. Electrical receptacles. We need to make sure that any electrical that we put in there in the bathroom at all is GFI protected at point of use. Our code requires that we've got at least one within 36 inches of the outside edge of a lavatory, so somewhere in and around here. And then it's not going to be installed directly over a bathtub or near a shower stall. And switches are not to be installed within wet locations where somebody can reach out and grab it from either in the tub or in the shower space. Lighting. We want to make sure that we've got general lighting in the room, also task lighting. The preferred method of task lighting, as you can see here, is to have one that would be on either side of a mirror or a medicine cabinet. The reason for that is because the light coming at you lights your face a little bit more evenly when you have a bath bar light, because it's the only thing that will fit. The light's coming from above, and a lot of times it creates bigger shadows on the face. So the preferred would be to do sconces on either side over a bar light, but so long as you have task lighting in there, you've succeeded in giving people plenty of light. Code requires that we've got one wall switch that's going to control the lights, and it's got to be placed at the entrance to the bathroom. They should be marked with suitable for wet or damp locations, and any hanging fixtures can't be located within 3 feet horizontally or 8 feet vertically from the top of a bathtub rim or a shower threshold. There is a trend where you've got a freestanding bathtub and a design trend where you might have a freestanding bathtub in a bathroom, and design wise they want to put a really cool chandelier over top of it. A lot of times this won't meet code. When you get into access standards, the task lighting at the vanity should be, again, at mirror and eye height. You figure if I'm saying that it's better to have sconces at that mirror for somebody that is standing, it's even more important for somebody that's in a chair. Because if they're in a chair, even if you put it at normal height for someone that's standing, it's still going to be higher for somebody that's in a chair. Ventilation. So we want to make sure that we've got ventilation for a bathroom. Code a lot of time will say that you either have to have a window that's at least 3 square feet that can open at least 50%, or you have to have a mechanical system that's going to pull out at least 50 CFMs of air to exhaust it to the exterior. The challenge is I don't know a single client that really wants to open a bathroom window in the middle of winter and get cold. So planning ventilation or a bath fan into your bathroom is just a smart idea. There's a couple of different ways you can vent them. Vent them to the exterior through a soffit or straight out through the attic. Do not vent them into that attic space. A lot of mold issues down the road if you do that. If you're planning for access, just again, make sure that the controls for that are 15 to 48 inches above the floor. And our last guideline is about heat. So we'd like to recommend that there is usually a supplemental heat source within the bathroom space. And what we mean by that is you've either got, inside your normal HVAC, you're either putting in some kind of heat lamp or heat fan lamp combination. A lot of times people will put in toe kick heaters. It just blows the warm air or the cooler air across the floor. There's radiant flooring systems, whether they be the electric wire systems or hot water systems. And then these we've kind of moved away from over the years, which are wall heaters, but I know that in some parts of the country, they still do use those to help heat the spaces. Code just requires that they want to make sure that bathrooms have an appropriate heat source, whether it's supplemental or otherwise, to maintain a temperature of about 68 degrees Fahrenheit. And then any electronically heated or heated appliances just need to have clearances, the required clearances, if there's any kind of combustible material in there. And they need to be rated